Hello everybody and welcome to my first episode. I'm going to start off today's episode by defining what an introvert is. I will give a more in-depth analysis with some personal examples as we get further into this episode. An introvert is defined as someone who feels more comfortable focusing on their inner thoughts and ideas rather than what is happening externally outside of their minds. Introverts would rather spend time with one or two people rather than in big groups. A couple personal examples that I have of this are that I don't like attending parties with a bunch of people I don't already know. I don't like going to bars because there will be people I don't know there, and being in that social situation makes me uncomfortable. Even though I don't like to attend some of those big events, I'm comfortable attending big family events or going to a gathering of close friends because I'm already comfortable around them. It's only when other people that I don't know are there where I become uncomfortable. What makes an introvert uncomfortable in those situations is mostly due to anxiety and overthinking. In social situations, 1,000 different questions come to their minds at the same time. Will they like me? Will they accept me for being a quieter person? Will they judge me? Introverts also tend to think that people think of them in a negative light even before meeting them. Introverts have difficulty relating to others and expressing their feelings. For example, my wife, her name is Drew, and her idea of going out varies dramatically from mine. Her idea of going out usually involves other people, such as going to the bar with some of her friends, going to the beach with friends, or doing some kind of activity that usually involves other people, compared to my idea of going out, which is going out on a supper date, just the two of us, going out for ice cream, just the two of us. Our differences of going out usually is defined by if it's only going to be me and her, or if there will be another party coming with us. Another thing that I've noticed is if a very close friend will ask me to hang out spontaneously, if I don't already have plans, I will most likely hang out with them. However, if a friend that I don't yet have a connection with on a personal level asks me to hang out of the blue, I will most likely not want to go because I get worried that we will run out of things to talk about since I'm not fully comfortable around them, and or more questions will come to mind if we do hang out, such as what if they get bored of me? What if we can't relate to each other? What if they think I'm weird? Basically, anything or anybody that is new or out of routine makes an introvert feel uncomfortable. Even though we are quiet and reserved people, we are also very thoughtful. Every time I go to the store for myself, I make sure to get something for my wife. I'm always there for my close friends and family. I would give the shirt off my back if it was the last thing I owned if one of them needed it. Introverts are often very mellow and calm individuals. They tend to analyze things more before speaking. They tend to try very hard to be non-confrontational. So even though introverts have traits that can be perceived as negative to some, they also have positive ones. Doctors agree that introversion lies in our biochemistry. A fun fact for this episode is that children show signs that they will either be an extrovert or an introvert from the moment they are born. Even though most physicians agree that whether you are an introvert or extrovert is mostly in our DNA, they also agree that there can also be environmental factors. When I was younger, just starting grade school and being an introvert, I was a very quiet kid. I was bullied almost every day for my elementary school years in many different ways. Whether my bullies would exclude me from playing with them at recess for liking a different sports team as them, or because I was not as social as them, this made me be perceived as a weirdo to them. Or they would sometimes ignore me when I would try to have a conversation with them. Many introverted kids are bullied from a young age, as introversion in kids is seen as a weakness to their bullies because they are less likely to stick up for themselves in moments of confrontation, either physically or verbally. I remember this as if it were yesterday. A few weeks before the end of grade 6, I had enough of the bullying. I knew that we would go to a bigger school with new people the following school year. In that moment, I realized that going to a new school and meeting new friends was my ticket to free myself from bullying. I came to realize that the main reason why I got bullied in the past was because of my introverted personality. I thought the only way to not get bullied anymore was to become a more extroverted person. I was thinking, If I was more extroverted, I would be seen as a fun person to the new kids I meet. Maybe this was my shot at a clean slate and this would make the bullying go away once and for all. In a way, my plan worked. I didn't get bullied anymore, but since I was not a real extrovert, I didn't really understand how to properly act extroverted, and at times I would be seen as an over-hyper person to some. As I began to mature, I slowly began to become myself once again. In high school, I had finally found my balance. By that point, I had the same group of close friends for a few years. I finally had a close group of friends where I could feel comfortable around. Around my friends, I wasn't seen as completely introverted, since I had built a solid relationship with them going on a few years by that point. However, outside my close group of friends, I would still be seen as an introvert. I would be seen as quiet or awkward around people who weren't very close to me. A few years after high school, my old group of friends had mostly dissolved. Life happened and most people went their own path. A few of them went to a different city for school. A few of them weren't as close anymore as they were becoming adults. My big group of friends was no more. What was a group of 6 to 8 people became 3 to 4 people. A year or so after that, me and my best friend that I knew since grade 1 lost touch. Another one of my friends moved to another city not long after this. What had started as a group of 10 close friends now was only a couple, but we still weren't that close. We still would only see each other once a month or two because of our busy adult lives. My introversion has made it very difficult for me to make new friends over the past few years and has affected my everyday life. The reason why I created this podcast is because I want to bring more awareness to the introvert personality types. I want more extroverts to understand how introverts think and what makes them act the way they do. I want to let extroverts know that introversion is completely normal, just like it is completely normal to be an extrovert. There are some personality traits about introverts that could be seen as negative traits, just like there are some that could be seen as negative extroverted traits. There are successful people that are introverted. For example, Bill Gates is a known introvert. Introverts are great people, just like extroverts are too.